by every metric, since the $17,000 level, Bitcoin has reached every single target that I was looking at, right? Originally, I was mainly just looking at the 30K target, but I told you guys that 40K is also a possibility. And when I elaborate on 40K, the idea is that a deviation, just because Bitcoin can be fucking crazy, a deviation could take it all the way up to 52. I know these are really big explosive ranges. I know that they almost don't make sense because they're too big, but of course, this is Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is an incredibly volatile asset. So, a deviation in a normal market would be like, 2-3% above. For Bitcoin, it literally can be, 20-30% above, like it maybe is over here. But what's interesting now is we've hit every single one of those price levels. And if you take a look around, if you stroll through the streets of X, of Twitter, and through the Telegram groups and the Discord groups and so on and so forth, one thing that you will see very, very clearly when this loads up is that there is absolutely no bearish sentiment anywhere to be seen. And that makes sense. If we look at this on a technical, purely technical perspective, this is a pretty good chart, right? We had a massive correction that kicked off this kind of bull market here from 15K. We had a massive 7-month correction again, and then a massive correction over here, and now we're blasting off higher. It makes sense. However, what also makes sense is that from a very large time frame perspective, we have reached key levels of the chart where we probably should have pulled back by now. Here's the monthly chart where we are. This is 5 bars, so it's actually 6 candles here, where we've been trending up non-stop. And if we take a look at this on the weekly chart, here's another view where it's been a non-stop uptrend without a pullback for 23 weeks. We did have this pullback here, to be fair, which was about 22%, but nothing particularly massive. And sentiment is just so clearly just very, very positive. Everyone's flexing their green profit numbers. Everybody's super happy about what's going on. OpenAI is releasing a fucking text-to-video model because we're in 2024, ladies and gents. It is getting pretty crazy. And if you take a look at the Fear and Greed Index, it's confirming all of the same stuff as well. I mean, we've been floating around extreme greed or the very, very high end of greed for quite some time now. We're basically just there right now as well, and this will update within the next 4 hours anyway. And what I'm seeing very, very clearly, right, is that from a technical perspective, other than this candle here, which kind of looks like it's already like a pretty weak candle, like I said, there's 4 hours left on this, so we'll see. It doesn't have to close like this, but if it does close like this, then this is a very obvious potential start of the downtrend. And I'm not saying this has to be a big downtrend, by the way. I've already covered this with you, and we'll talk about it a little bit more in this video, but literally just like down to here would be enough, and then we can start looking at rallying up again potentially, right? But just from this perspective here, it's getting very hard to pin down where that resistance might be. Like, if it's not here, if it's not at 52, then what I've told you guys on this channel previously is that for me, the next key level of resistance is going to come in over here at 58, and that's just way too high up, right? So we've crossed all of this deviation territory. We're in territory now where sentiment is extremely bullish, where God forbid you say anything that errs on the side of caution in this market, you'll be fucking burned at the stake. So we've got every single piece of the puzzle that should be present before a crash happens. Every single one. We've had a massive uptrend. It's very taboo to talk about the price dropping. Sentiment in terms of raw numbers is super high. Everyone's flexing their profit screenshots. And by the way, I saw an interesting bit of data, chain analysis. I think this was from Glassnode, where now only 13% of addresses, only 13% of Bitcoin addresses are in a loss. So very, very few people that have ever bought Bitcoin are in a loss right now. Which is great in a sense, but also tells you that, things have changed really quick. 2023 was just a year of straight up. 2022 was a year of straight down. To me, there's got to be some in between. And now is that perfect time for that in between to come in. I haven't taken any short positions yet, and I don't necessarily intend on doing that either. I'm in a really nice bit of profit on my Bitcoin long. I'm now sitting in over a 1,400% profit on the Bitcoin long position that I've been telling you guys about for a little bit of time now. If we take a quick look at that, you can see how that's going. Actually, my bad. I'm just 1% shy of a 1,400% profit right there. But still super happy with that, of course. And of course, my Tron position now is sitting at 700% profit. So, and by the way, I made both of those trades just on Bybit, which is linked down below. You can register and get up to 30K in free trading capital when you sign up to Bybit using my link and start trading. And this link will give you a free $500 position on Solana. So if you want to short the fuck out of it, or if you're still bullish and you want to go long, you can use a free $500 to do that position in any direction you wish. Deepcoin is a brilliant alternative as well, also a major derivatives exchange, but these guys do not require KYC. So that is super cool. They're giving you even bigger bonuses, and if you sign up, you're just going to get $10 for free to trade with right off the bat. Not huge, but what is cool is that if you deposit $100 and you make a trade worth 10K, they will double your deposit. So that is super cool. Check them both out, linked down below. But on the note of these phenomenal positions that I was just sharing with you guys, I don't necessarily want to take shorts yet. Now, I really want to close my Bitcoin long. I'm in a weird dilemma, and I'm not coming to you. I'm coming to you guys with some answers, sort of, because I feel like I've got a general sense of this market. But I'm also very okay all the time, including right now, in telling you guys when I feel uncertain or unsure about something, right? And here's the thing. Here's the dilemma I'm in with my position. Maybe some of you can relate. I got a phenomenal entry on this position, and I have a rule as a trader, which is that generally speaking, I don't want to close a trade unless the market gives me a reason to close it. And that would mean an invalidation. That would mean a trend change, okay? So now if I've entered the trade literally way the fuck down here, way the fuck over here, if I decided to close the trade just because it became too much profit, then I probably would have closed it over here. Do you know what I mean? Like, that already was a massive amount of profit. And in fact, if we measure what this would have looked like, that alone, I would have tripled my money nearly. Like, that's already an insanely huge gain to make on this Bitcoin position. But to be all the way up here, it's just a completely different dimension, right? And so I haven't been given a reason to close it, but my God, I do not want to be long right now. I just cannot stress that enough. Like, I'm super happy with my spot Bitcoin positions and everything like that, but for the life of me, I just do not want to be in a long position right now, because I feel like I'm going to get a much better entry if I look to do this again later. And I don't really need to close it because there's so little left in the position anyway. And, I've already taken most of my profits out, so that's absolutely fantastic. So I'm super happy about that. And I've been scaling out, since the position started. I'm always kind of chipping away and closing some profits, because that, to me, is just very good, healthy risk management. But, with what this chart is showing me, look, this is kind of the last level, guys. Like, if we get up to 58, then sure, that's a good area of resistance. Don't get me wrong. That definitely does make sense, as a potential zone for Bitcoin to struggle at. Just take a look at this right here on the weekly, by the way. This is a weekly point on the chart, which, has just been such a serious, important level. Take a look at this on the daily. Just so much interaction with this price level, for lack of a better word, consolidation, reversal, support, resistance, everything, all taking place between this kind of, call it 56 to 59K area, but really 58 is kind of how I like to label this price range. That would kind of be the next logical area, but this is kind of it. Like, if it's not here, then it has to be up there. And if it's not that, then we're just off to brand new all-time highs. And is this really the way we're going to do it? You know what? To be honest, for me, it doesn't really matter how we're going to get there, because I'm still going to take positions in the altcoin market. I'm still going to, take positions on Bitcoin and so on and so forth. So it doesn't really matter. I'm more of a short-term trader. But what I know from experience is that if, people are talking about it like it's a fucking done deal now, and if people are talking about it in a way where your reality hasn't been rocked, like you've been fucking punched in the face and now your ears are ringing because it was that heavy of a punch, by Bitcoin, and everybody's super confident that they're never going to get punched, So, just sit around and wait for all-time highs, that kind of sentiment. Like, when everybody's got that, like I said, all the puzzle pieces are there, and I think the fact that what I'm saying is so inflammatory is all the more proof that this is exactly how it fucking works every single time. It doesn't mean that I have to be right this time, but you're never wrong if you exercise this kind of approach in the market, just from what I've seen. Like when everybody's so heavily piled in. And by the way, I went on Twitter and I scrolled through for quite some time, and I just couldn't find anything that was bearish on Twitter. I mean, I'm scrolling through pretty quickly right now, but you guys, be my guest. I'm sure many of you guys are on Telegram and Discord and stuff like that. I mean, I just don't see any bearish sentiment. There is definitely some. Here's a slight, bearish sentiment, possible flush down toward 50K. I mean, this is tiny, right? It's a 2K drop to rinse some longs. I mean, I think it could be much worse than this, in fact. And by the way, let's just go ahead and take a look at the long and short ratio, because this might actually tell us something interesting as well. If we take a look at this on the daily, let's see if we're heavily skewed. Oh, we've got more shorts, actually, so that's interesting. That's definitely something that we'll be paying more attention to see how this plays out. Maybe, those shorts need to be shaken out. So, that could definitely be something that's at play over here. But what we have seen for sure is very few people, just in terms of sentiment, in terms of anything that you can get your hands on. And by the way, this Twitter feed, this trading list I've got, curated only by me, right? I'm in the space, I know people in the space very well, and I have picked people on both ends of the spectrum to feature in this list. And that's why I'm like, hang on a minute, like, why the fuck is nobody, like, why is everybody just feeling fashionable right now and talking about how Ethereum's going to 3K and everything like that? Like, I got no shade against these guys. A lot of these guys are actually my friends, so there's no problem with me and these guys at all. And in fact, I mean, I wouldn't be looking at their tweets if they were bad traders. I mean, feel free to pause the video and just look at anybody in this list. They're all fantastic traders who I respect. And at the same time, for me, if all of those fantastic traders are piling on in one direction as well anyway, well, guess what, guys? Most traders, and that includes the great ones, the fantastic ones, do get it wrong, right? It's just part of the game, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you get it wrong, because you're only putting a small amount of capital into each trade, so you're not actually risking that much. And on balance, if you're right overall, then it's not a big deal, right? So this doesn't mean that these guys are bad traders. I really need you guys to understand this. It doesn't mean that I'm a bad trader if I'm wrong about the market too. But for me, it's all about just kind of watching where everybody is flocking in the same particular direction and where the money is going at the same time. For me, this is just your typical setup before a pullback. So what's my game plan? Well, personally, I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to go looking for shorts right now. I feel like the market is going to present it to us when it's ready. I feel like this is a very good chance for the market to do that, but I don't know if I want to jump in front of this train anyway. And because of that, for me, it's going to be a case of, well, I'm certainly not really looking to, buy, or like get aggressive in this market in any way. I mean, small longs or whatever, I'm still okay with, and I'm still happy to consider them. And in fact, I've been talking about those ideas inside of Forflies VIP, which you can join by following these steps on screen. I'm not going to get into that right now. But what I do think for sure is that if we do start to see some more signs of a kind of shaky platform, if we start seeing technical signs where Bitcoin is starting to lose its ground a little bit, I'm going to be paying really fucking close attention, especially to the sentiment, because what I want to see is that Bitcoin starts to lose a bit of ground, Bitcoin starts to shake, Bitcoin starts to lose its footing a little bit, and sentiment stays really positive. Ladies and gents, if that happens, if it happens to be the case that Bitcoin starts losing its footing a little bit, but everybody's still mega bullish, and this is like the perfect time for all of this to happen. Might not happen, but if it does, the perfect time for it to happen, that's going to tell me that this is actually continuing to play into that typical playbook of a bigger correction that is about to begin. It's always very hard to pin these reversal points. That's why people say that, like sniping in crypto isn't a smart idea. Sniping means like you're trying to pick the exact top or the exact bottom. It's not a healthy strategy in my experience. It's so fucking hard to pull it off. I mean, you can just look at the chart, right? I mean, how many possible snipe points have there been? You just would have lost money constantly, right? So that's why I haven't taken shorts in this market. Like, I just don't, I don't want to do that to myself. I've been there. I've lost money doing that kind of thing. It's not my game. But for me, I want to see confirmation. If I can start seeing confirmation that, I don't know, fuck it, we wick up to 54, 56 for some sort of deviation, and then come back down, and, volume piles in, and sentiment gets really bullish, and whatever the case may be, like different factors. We've got some RSI stuff going on. Doesn't really matter. That's where I'm going to start to really build some confidence in these ideas. We start to, here's one of the interesting ones, right? It's like oftentimes we'll start to lose really good areas of support that, typically we would take very seriously, but then we lose them and we're like, it's no big deal, right? So here's a stretched example. I don't think this one's realistic, but if we lose the 1 hour EMA ribbon and we start trading lower, it'll be like, it doesn't matter because we got the 4 hour, right? And that's where kind of denial is starting to seep in. Obviously not a great example because I think the 1 hour is indeed, too short of a time frame to evaluate the SPY. But if we lost the 4 hour, for example, that puts us below $48,000, right? Is that right? 48? Yeah. That puts us below $48,000 if we lose the 4 hour EMA ribbon right now. That's definitely more room for a deeper correction. Another $4,000, really, I think, another $4,000 at least. So, and that means doubling the drop, right? Because from our current price at 52 to get down there, we're dropping by about 4K by about 7%. And if we drop down here, we're dropping down by another 7% down to about 14, 15. So, that would be a strong indication that things could be about to get worse. Or, of course, on the daily. The daily is a phenomenal view at this. If we lose the 44K level and we're still super, super bullish, then what that's going to tell me is we do have a real case of denial, because now we've lost a critical area of support where we've managed to build up a lot of confluence, and we're probably going to have to come down and tag these lows over here, down at 40K. That's another $4,000 loss. But again, if we had that much weakness, maybe we've got to tumble lower. And that's where we can really start to see those floodgates start to open. But until any of that starts to happen now, I think you're almost damned on both directions. Like if you're going long, you're entering at a fucking horrible time. If you're going short, you're jumping in front of a train. Sometimes you've just got to know that it's okay. It is okay to not be in a position. It is okay to not go chasing trades. To just kind of sit and wait for something a little bit higher probability to enter the space and then come and pounce on the market. I'm an analyst at the end of the day, but more than that, I'm a trader. And that means I'm interested in making money. And a primary consideration as somebody who wants to make money is that I mustn't lose money, okay? Because you can't, there's no point filling water into a bucket that has a hole in it, right? So really, really important to keep these kind of principles in mind. And honestly, that's why I wanted to step on this video today to just kind of talk to you guys about it, because everyone's getting super excited and, really starting to kind of lose their shit over what's going on in the market. Twitter's not giving me great examples right now, but I've been scrolling through it all day trying to find anything that proves me wrong with this idea, and I just really struggle to do so. So for me, that was kind of my sign where I was like, look, we need a little bit of a reality check again. As we're hitting 52, there is massive FOMO. Altcoins are starting to pop off. You know what I mean? Like, it's just one of those times right now. And by the way, let's just take a quick look at dominance just while we're at it. Yeah, dominance has taken a slight dip down. Nothing crazy. But again, a drop like this for Bitcoin's dominance is enough for, huge gains in the altcoin market. Ethereum up by 2% compared to Bitcoin 0.4 as a phenomenal example. Cardano up by 5, SEI up by 8. You know what I mean? Like this is a really, really good example. What is this? BNB up by 6%, getting some nice potential breakout action here. Even like I said, my Tron position, my other altcoin position that I'm in right now is now up by 700% from my entry. This is all really useful for you to know, because while I talk about these ideas that are on the side of caution, I am literally making money off the long side. So, I have had people telling me I'm getting paid to be bearish, I'm getting paid to shill gold and shit like that. Absolutely ridiculous, right? But obviously my money's talking pretty loud as well, and showing you that, look, I still want to make money on the upside here, but, a critical part of making money on the upside is understanding where it gets too dangerous to do that, and then kind of, being able to take a step back so that when I step back in, I'm actually doing so at the right time. I might be wrong about this, and if I am, then fuck it, more money for me. I'm super happy about that. My Bitcoin holdings will go up. My Bitcoin long position will go up, so I'm not complaining. A positive Bitcoin only means good things for me across the board, and obviously for most people, that's going to be the case as well. So I'm okay with it if Bitcoin does continue to go up, but, from a technical perspective, I want to see something a little bit healthier than this. To me, this is not super, super healthy. We're on the daily chart, by the way, guys. just level with me for a sec. Take a look at this from this candle here up to the current day. We've had 11 days of upward candles with one exception, and this was a bullish hammer. So I mean, like, it wasn't really even a bearish candle. It was a recovery candle. It was intraday that we dropped down and then we recovered back up. So that's just 11 days straight, ladies and gents, of just pure uptrend. I mean, you can call it what you like, but 11 days is a bit of a stretch. And in fact, from here, it's actually been a whole 24 days, like 3.5 weeks, without any real pullbacks. So and I mean, this is off a big price move as well. That's a 37% gain also in 24 days. I mean, it's obviously getting a little bit too much. You guys hear me saying this in both directions. When we're trending down, I say it as well. When we're trending up, I say it as well. I mean, it's just the natural forces of the market. That's just how they work. And if they choose to be irrational for a little bit, that doesn't mean they've stopped working. That just means the reaction is going to be all the more severe. And that's the key thing I kept saying about 2022. I was like, this is a ridiculously drawn out, painful bear market, so our reaction is probably going to be quite explosive. Little did I know it would be this explosive. I did account for it, and I did discuss these ideas, but I really didn't think that it would get taken this far. But it seems like the reaction is indeed a very, very, strong one. It is a very, very strong reaction indeed. So, we'll see. But what we know for sure is that I'm sticking with you guys, and I'm going to be telling you what I'm seeing in this market. So if you have enjoyed this one, do me a favor and smash up that subscribe button, like the video, tick the bell so you get notified about these very time-sensitive bits of content, and come trade on Bybit where I am. This is basically my main home in the crypto world for up to $30,000 in bonuses as well. That is free money you can trade with when you start trading using my link down below. And like I said, they're also going to give you a free $500 position on Solana. So go rinse the fuck out of this. Take their free money. It's no risk on your part. You just throw the money in, and anything that happens, if there are profits, then they're yours to keep. And if it's a loss, then it was Bybit's money. So who cares? And Deepcoin, similar deal here, but over 100K in bonuses, and this is a no KYC exchange as well, so that is absolutely fantastic. All right, ladies and gents, I hope you have enjoyed this one. You know what to do. If you have, I will see you all in the next one, and I'm out. Cheers.